Blog Talk Radio.
Hey there! Welcome to Big Blend Radio with your hosts, Lisa and Nancy, editors of BigBlendMagazine.com.
It's happy hour, everybody. Welcome to Big Blend Radio's Toast to Music anniversary party. We are airing live from the studio of ceramic artist Andrea Fay out in Peachtree City, Georgia. There's no peaches on the trees right now because it's a little cold, but I heard that they will come in season. They will be here in season. So just saying, look forward to when the warmth comes back. It will be peach season, but it is a beautiful day. There's all kinds of birds floating around. There's deer. There's cats.
Yes.
Two cool cats. That. This is an awesome, awesome place. But so anyway, this is part of our anniversary series. You know, we've been doing a lot of Zoom interviews, so we're airing daily now on BigBlendRadio.com. That's the website. But this live radio show series goes back to our roots of who we are. We are celebrating 25 years of Big Blend magazines. For our magazines that went from print to digital, 15 years of Big Blend Radio started here on Blog Talk Radio. So all year long we're going to be having these parties. And also we are celebrating 10 years of our Big Blend Love Your Parks tour, where we travel across the country documenting parks and public lands. And so we're pretty darn happy because we're having all of our friends on the show.
Yeah, I love it.
Talking about where they are today, looking back at when they first came on the shows. And this is just like 1 year of parties. And Lord knows we need some good parties and positivity. So,
yeah,
Nancy, are you ready to get on the bus?
I'm already on.
Okay. Well, we've got the Big Blend Radio Happy Hour Party Bus. And Priscilla, our pink sock monkey, she's our travel mascot for our Love Your Parks tour. She's driving and cooking and pouring drinks. And she's getting ready to welcome some amazing folks on the bus. We're going to start out going from Peachtree City, Georgia. We're going to go because this bus can fly, swim, drive, road. It can do anything. We're going to go off to Australia, Adelaide, Australia. We're going to go pick up Dean. Oh, no, excuse me. Let me get it right. We're going to San Francisco first. Let me get it straight.
No.
We're going all the way across the country. We're going to go to James Byfield, known as Blind Lemon Pledge, over in San Francisco. So we're going to play some of his music. Then we're going to Australia. It makes more sense for the map. And then we're going to go all the way from Australia, from the warmer climate to another warm climate. We're going to South Florida, after we see Dino-Jag in Adelaide. I know. Well, this is, backwards. So we're going to go to San Francisco, pick up James Byfield, to go to Australia, Adelaide, Australia, to pick up Dino-Jag, and then we're going to go to South Florida to Lake Worth to pick up the Cravens-Rock-Band. How hard is that? I think this is pretty darn cool.
That is pretty much what our road trips are like, right there.
Okay, so we're going to get started. Here is, we're going to play road trip music before we go get James over in San Francisco. Here is Run, John, Run. I'm going to get this straight. Everything's here. You can tell we haven't been doing live that much anymore. But Run, John, Run is from his album. It's just actually pretty amazing. Pledge Drive. And, you think about a Blind Lemon Pledge. Pledge Drive. And this is from the first album that James came on the show. And I don't know what year it was, but he's been on the show a gazillion times with all kinds of albums. Americana Blues. He is fantastic. I encourage you to go to his website, blindlemon-pledge.com, and he's on Facebook under the same name. His latest album is a satchel full of blues that's doing super well on the Roots Music charts. He'll tell us about that. But here it is, Run, John, Run, and then we'll get him on the show. Take a listen.
Run, John, run, racing to the cornfield. Run, John, run, you best not stay. Run, John, run, hiding in a canebrake. Run, John, run, night riders on the way. Katie and Baby Joe. You got to protect them. Daddy Zeke and Auntie Flo. Gotta keep them safe. Gotta keep them safe. Gotta keep them safe. Run, John, run. Down to the river. Run, John, run. Hear what I say. Run, John, run. Dashing through the woods now. Run, John, run. Night riders on the way. Ain't gonna work their farm no more. Not since abolition. Won't be no slave to the company store. It's a whole new day. It's a whole new day. It's a whole new day. Run, John, run. Heading for the border. Run, John, run. You're gonna get away. Run, John, run. The gates of Zion calling. Run, John, run. Night riders on the way. Run, John, run.
Everyone, run, John, run. You're listening to Big Blend Radio's Happy Hour, and that is James Byfield, also known as Blind Lemon Pledge, and you can go to their website, blindlemon-pledge.com. That is from the album Pledge Drive, and that's where we first met James here on Big Blend Radio. So welcome, James, and welcome to the Big Blend Party Bus. How's it going?
Oh, it's going good. I put my party hat on, so I'm ready to boogie here.
Well, good.
Like
Listen,
yeah.
Run, John, run. I have to tell you, we've been crossing the country a gazillion times these last few years, and your albums totally tell the tale of America. And, you know, it really is like if you take your albums, you're documenting the history in a number of ways.
It's interesting
that
you played that one because just the other night, like I think 2 nights ago, they had Buck and the Preacher on, which is a Sidney Poitier movie, and that was the inspiration for that song because it's about the Night Riders, which I had not known about, and until I ever saw that movie. So it was kind of cool that it came on, and now you played it.
Wow, that's weird. Wow, that's cool.
Amazing. So listen, you're on the party bus. Movie. Priscilla would like to. I know. Listen, champagne toast, happy hour toast to Sidney Poitier. He is.
Oh man.
Yeah.
A legend, right? He's a legend. Betty White. I mean, it's just like, you know, there's just so many people lately. It's just like, But we've got music, and music is part of documenting history and keeping it alive. It's not like documented and stuffed in a museum drawer. It keeps everything moving forward, you know. So I think that's the beauty of it, and I think that's the beauty of what you're doing with your music. It is Americana. It really is. It's the roots. You get down and into it, and we appreciate it. And we've loved having you on the show over the years. We've had technical things that have happened, but we've got you here now, which is good.
There you go.
So
I've always enjoyed coming on.
Cool.
It was 2016 when I first came on. 2016.
2016. So we're past the 5-year mark now.
That's right.
That's fantastic. Well, maybe we'll see you as we head west this year. We're going to be off.
I hope so. That'd be
you never
great.
know. You know, we're trying to keep actual contact at the minimum right now because it's a little weird out there again. But, you know, we'll see what we can do. We can go sit outside by the harbor or something in San Francisco.
It could be in the mask. You know, it's
we got to be the mask.
The Mask Man.
Someone's got to write an album called The Mask
Man.
Who was that Mask Man? There was a masked woman that was found in the harbor. Anyway,
what?
The Midnight Lady of. Okay, sorry. So, James, what would you like to eat and drink?
Oh, what I like to eat and drink? I would like champagne and sushi. That sounds pretty darn good.
Ooh. Oh, well, you know, that's kind of San Francisco-like in a way, you know?
I thought it sounded that way, too. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Classy.
I like that. Well,
very classy.
Priscilla is very adept at popping corks. She's very good at that. Sushi, she'll learn. So if you don't like her sushi, well, I'm sorry about that. But are you ready to go for a road trip because we're going to Australia now? Like, you know, we just did the whole country to get to you. from Georgia to San Francisco. Now we're going to go to Australia. So we're going down under, and we're going to play a song from Dino-Jag. Everyone, go to Dino-Jag.com. Dino is amazing, and the first time he came on our show, I don't even think we could play the music. I was having a problem. See, technical issues. Don't blame me. I'm just the one doing it. But Dino, the first time, and he stayed on the show talking, and while I'm like, I'm trying to get the music to play, and it didn't. But eventually, of course, we played his music over the years. But the first song was Calling All the Saints, and it was a fundraiser for Oxfam. You remember the Haiti earthquake, and he'll tell you more about it. So let's get back on that bus. Let's play some road trip music, and here it is, Calling All the Saints by Dino-Jag. And it's one, it just, take a listen.
I love this song.
I know. Oh, I know. It's too late. I've lost tomorrow. It's all gone, lost in sorrow.
everyone. Again, that was Calling All the Saints by Dino-Jag. You can keep up with him at Dino-Jag.com. And he's getting on the party bus. He's in Adelaide, Australia, which means Nancy and I are there, Priscilla, our pink sock monkey, and James Byfield in San Francisco is now in Adelaide, Australia. This virtual stuff is pretty darn cool. But welcome back, Dino. How are you?
Well, it's great to have all these guests here in my Adelaide home.
We got off the bus. Does that mean that you're cooking, or is Priscilla still cooking?
Well, I can tell you, I hope you bought your sun hats because it's pretty hot here today.
Is it? It's daytime.
We like that. We like that.
Yeah,
we're a little chilly.
We're heading for 39 today, which is, I think you're in Fahrenheit there, aren't you? So that's about 102.
Oh, beautiful.
Whoa.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that. That's like my desert heat when we used to live out in the desert.
Here.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I want to get out in the sun. You know, everyone's worried about COVID. I just say go in the sun. Just go in the sun. Get out
will kill
sun
the
and
germs.
surf.
Yeah. You know, I want to go to Calling All the Saints. I know you were back on our show just over a year ago, our Christmas party last year, when we were snowed at Madison, Wisconsin. And then you had this dance contest to everybody go on. And I was like, seriously, I'm going to fall on, like, hardcore. It's not happening with me. I thought I was all, ready to go. Nancy made me toddies and everything. It wasn't going to happen. But I was going to dance with the pink flamingos in the snow. But Calling All the Saints,
I love that.
To me, it's like an anthem.
Yeah.
Totally. It's a song for now, even. Totally for now.
Yeah, it's interesting how certain songs, the concept, the theme, the inspiration behind certain songs, continue to connect in future events. With Calling All the Saints, I remember sharing this with you, back in 2010, when it first came together, and it's just one of those. I think every songwriter can relate to the feeling that certain songs seem to transcend. You don't really understand where it comes from or why it's coming to you, but for some reason, it just feels like there's something special about some songs, and this was one of those ones for me. Whenever I sat at the keyboard, where I was writing on the piano with this one here, and I would just be overwhelmed with a certain emotion every time I kind of plugged into the feeling of the song and the melody and the lyric. And I didn't really understand where or why it was kind of coming together. But, that's part of the whole process of writing music. I think you've got to get out of your own way and just allow whatever's coming to you to come to you and not question why or how. Because sometimes the muses don't visit you very often, and when they do, you just want to keep the door open,
That's right.
But for this song here was crazy because I'm actually right now. I'm actually in the room where I wrote the song. It's bizarre because I actually moved away from the place I'm in now, and I've come back after a few years. I'm actually in the room right now where I actually wrote the song. So
cool.
It's interesting. And I just remember it was about 3:00 in the morning here, and I just finished doing a demo of the song where I've been working on it for a while, and the last piece, if you like, of the puzzle, I just kind of recorded it. And I went downstairs to make myself a coffee, as you do at 3:00 in the morning when you're working on music. And I switched the TV on while I put the kettle on, and then the news broke out about the Haiti earthquake. And so this was in January 2010, and right there in that moment, I thought, okay, this is what this song is going to be dedicated to, and it just the whole feeling behind it just seemed totally in alignment with what they had just experienced over there, and I just wanted to find a way to utilize the song to bring some attention to their cause, and I got permission from the American Red Cross to utilize the images that they had taken on the ground there for a special video release of the song, and to encourage people to donate towards getting help over there. So that's kind of the backstory, how it kind of all fell together at the time.
That's
nice.
awesome. That's awesome. I mean, I just think it's just so where we're at now too. It just really is, and I think it's also a song. It's just a song for anyone struggling, on their own individually. That sometimes
I was approached recently. Like someone asked me about that song. I should re-release it and dedicate it to the nurses that are that are kind of in the front line with everything that's going on at the moment with COVID.
Ooh, well, I'm just Dino, it's so good to have you back on the show.
It's a joy to be here. You guys have been amazing over the years. I'm so grateful for having supported my music and throwing it in the mix amongst all the other artists that you support over there. So very grateful for that. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you too. I mean, to us, it's like just even this party. Just it makes our hearts really big, makes us feel joyous, and it's like you can't get any better than just. I think all of us independents have to stand together. We all do. We have to unite and just work together as much as we can. And it's just a beautiful thing. And Priscilla, though, the little sock monkey wants to make you food and something to drink. What can she do? She'll bring it off the bus and into your house. She says it's getting really hot on the bus. She's steaming up. Her shoes are melting. Her makeup is melting because she does have makeup.
All right. Well, I tell you what would go down really well right now would be a dozen oysters, and I like a nice cold kombucha. And if you want, you can throw a little bit of gin in there as well.
Ooh, a gin in the kombucha? Oh, well, why not? Hey, listen, in the States, it happens to be National Oyster Rockefeller Day. Rockefeller oyster, whatever. We don't. Nancy and I are allergic to seafood. But I did find out today that Oysters Rockefeller was created in New Orleans at Antoine's restaurant, and he started doing this in the original recipe was finally finalized in 1889. They started using snails because don't forget the French in New Orleans. And then they ran out of snails, and so they went out and got oysters because that's what's plentiful in New Orleans, and hence we have Oysters Rockefeller. And there we go. And so today is the day of the dish being out there. So that's my trivia for the day. Thank you to
how many people here have eaten a snail?
I have.
Yeah?
No, I haven't gone there yet.
They're actually kind of tasty. I mean, especially a lot of garlic butter on them.
Oh, wow. See, this is now San Francisco.
I think you need the garlic butter to hide the taste.
So then it doesn't become chicken because everything else is chicken.
Yeah, well, yeah. But I don't know if we'd be allergic to it because we're allergic to seafood and fish. So,
it might be the shell thing, huh?
I don't know, but I'm happy to say I'm not trying it because I really don't want to.
I don't want to. No. Well, guys, we're getting back on the bus. I'm sorry about that. James, how are you handling the heat since you're from San Francisco? Are you doing good?
I'm doing okay, yeah.
Cool. I think we have good road trip
The monkey
music.
put a fan on me, so I'm good.
The monkey's awesome. She can do whatever she wants whenever she wants.
Well, listen,
I'll take you to the beach, James.
We'll go through the beach because the bus can go through the water, just so you know. And just so you know, no sharks can come in. But we're going to South Florida, and this is the perfect time of year to go to South Florida. It's warm. It's not too hot. They have iguanas running around, and they have an awesome rock band that we got to see last year. Finally got to see live music. And it's our friends, the Cravens, and they are badass. And I stopped saying everything else I wanted to say. But they are badass. So we're so excited to have them back on the show. In fact, doing this live series of shows when we were there, we're like, well, dudes, we're going to have to do one of our live shows again since we're here. And we haven't done one for a while. With all the technical stuff that's been changing, we started doing Zoom, and that's great. But now we're like, you know what? We can do both. And it's their last live show with us, and we're like, dude, we got to get back to our roots. It's our anniversary party, and the Cravens, we've had cocktail contests with them. We have a good history. So stay tuned. We're going to play some road trip music. Is everybody belted up, because we are going to go through the water, like Priscilla's driving through the ocean to get to South Florida. So hang on. Hang on to your kombucha and gin. Hang on to your champagne, your oysters, your sushi. Off we go.
Oh,
so we're going to start
hang
off
on to your oysters?
Yes, well, that's Nancy. This is, I love this song. We're going to play What Would You Say? And this
I think I
from,
just said it.
The Cravens album. It is On the Line, and that was the first album they came on the show with. And so here it is, What Would You Say? And we got to hear him play it live, too. So take a listen. And off we go. Start that bus.
All of my friends went home, back to the lives they own. There's not much more I can do. I can't believe I'm losing you. As I lay down to sleep, I pray for your heart to keep, but I won't be the first or the last to wish you dreams.
John, that is the Cravens out of South Florida in Lake Worth.
Awesome.
And you can keep up with them at cravensongs.com. They're on Facebook. And that was What Would You Say? And they're always keeping love and positive stuff out on the front. And we love them. We got to see them perform live. We were so lucky.
Much fun.
I mean, just
so
like, are
fun.
we not the luckiest girls?
That
We
was
want to
so
see
much
everyone
fun.
that comes on our shows. Yeah.
So cool.
So, welcome, John. Welcome back on the
Hi.
bus. How are you?
Hey, guys.
I'm so happy to be on this bus in 2022.
Yeah.
I know.
Yes.
And you got to see our big bus, right? The RAV4.
We did, and I love the little monkey Priscilla. It's just really ducky, and I'm really, really happy to meet the other fellows that are on board from San Francisco and Adelaide.
Good to meet you.
I know.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
High five.
Yes,
This is a
that sounds
party.
great.
This is great. Dino makes us global. This is just cool. It's so cool. We're all like from all sides of the country and global. This is just a
Global
global
Party
party.
22.
So, yeah.
We want to have a big blend bus, and it's just going to be all musicians and virtual concert, like somehow.
That's great.
I don't know, but we should just get a bus. Eddie Maldonado. I got to give a shout out to Eddie Maldonado, co-hosted shows with us. He's a dear friend from San Diego, and he knew us when we printed the magazine. He runs restaurants and bars, and he let our band play, and that was like, I bless you, Eddie, for that. And but he co-hosted a lot of shows at the very beginning because he's great at it, and especially anything to do with sports. We didn't know anything about that, but. No. He just was always that way of just like, get the bus. You girls need a bus. And this was even before we had the tour. He's like, you need to have the decked out bus. You need the party bus, the double-decker bus. And I'm like, stripper poles, the whole thing. We need the bus.
Jeez, that sounds good.
Stripper poles.
That's a family bus, but cooler.
We could have, the big blend, it's like, because the big blend concept is, and I think this even goes for all of you musically, pop rock, Dino, I think you got funk. You got a little bit of this, a little of that. Americana, roots, blues. James, you got a little bit of everything. The Cravens, rock, blues, pop, punk. So it's all this whole thing of like, you're only one thing and you can only be one thing is crap.
No,
I mean, it's there. I get it.
No.
So the blend is everything is connected, and we are all connected, and we are all in this party bus right now. So we're connected. So I want to introduce each. Thank you for being here. I want to introduce each of you Cravens onto the show. I'm going to start with Nancy. Nancy is the manager and married to Rockin' Ronnie, the lead guitarist. But Nancy, welcome back. How are you?
Welcome. Oh, we are wonderful. Welcome, darlings. We're so glad to be back.
Now, listen. Priscilla's here. She needs to come see you for a massage and some dolling up because she just went through Adelaide, drove through the ocean to get here. She's melting, but she feels good in South Florida with the iguanas and the cravens. And the craven is sitting here. The actual craven is sitting here, but
excellent.
She would like to come see you for a spa treatment when we get. Yeah, we need all kinds of things. She told us that.
Have a spa day.
Yeah, Priscilla needs a spa day. We'll go in with her, but someone needs to give us a cocktail to get us in there. But she would like to make you something to eat and drink. What would you like?
Me? Well, coffee. And I'll take a chicken salad, or or Mama Gizzy's pumpkin ravioli sounds real good right now.
That sounds good.
Listen, the lollipop ravioli, Mama Gizzy's. Listen,
hey, the mama's got it going on.
Don't mess with the mama. Yeah,
she got it going on, dude.
She has got it going on, and she really does know how to cook really amazing Italian foods. And see, we're global. We're global today for sure. So I want to bring Bill Meredith back on the show. How are you, Bill? Bill is the drummer for the Cravens.
Great. How you doing, ladies?
We're doing good. We're in party mode. What can our sock monkey bring you?
Oh, I would like some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
There you go, Bill.
I
think we're all getting our fiber intake.
I'm not sure about the fava beans.
Fava beans. I think you've definitely put the first platter of fava beans on our show ever. That's it. Bill and his fava. Okay. What is the fava like? Do you have a way you like to eat them, or just fava? What's going on with the fava?
He likes it with a nice steak. I've heard.
Right, exactly.
Well, with some raw meat.
I don't know what it is. What's a fava bean?
Nancy, I know you won't.
It's a movie reference.
It's a Silence of the Lamb reference.
Oh, God, that's right. There it is.
Yep.
There it is. There it is. No. Someone has to help us
at
along.
least we don't have to eat it.
I just went to fiber immediately, and
there's plenty of fiber. Yeah.
We all need a little fiber here and then. All I know is Nancy's particular about her beans. Like Big Blend.
I'm not doing the
No,
fava.
don't give her no Yankee beans. No, Seinfeld. Yankee beans. No. And no fava bean. No fava. No navy. No. Okay. All right. So
only chili.
But anyway, we're gonna move on. We got Chianti going. So there it is.
Yeah.
So Ron DeSaram, Rockin' Ron the
Yeah, man.
How are you doing?
Hey.
I'm fucking great, man.
You are. Do you have rum? Would you like rum? Priscilla's ready to make. Do you want her to tropical it up, or do you want it just like straight with Coke? What would you like?
Rum and Coke and some pizza.
Oh. Yeah. There it is. Right
now,
there.
You
That's
and Nancy,
perfect.
other Nancy. Yeah, Nancy's in that. She's Nancy Big Blend. Nancy's in with you on that.
Yeah.
You're married to the other Nancy, the Craven Nancy. But Big Blend Nancy and you have the same taste. Pizza and
you went down a rabbit hole
happy
there.
for the rest of your life.
That's how we roll,
good.
man.
That's good. And listen, there were the two judges.
You cannot go wrong with rum and pizza. Come on. The world was made by that.
You guys were the final judges for the Craven Raven cocktail contest that we did.
Oh,
when was
so funny.
God, does anybody was that 2018 that we did it?
Yeah, the end of 2018, yeah.
Yeah.
God.
Really? That long ago? Wow. Yeah. Wow, that was so much fun.
That was a blast. And we have great recipes on blendradioandtv.com. If you go to blendradioandtv.com, type in the Cravens and Nancy, and it was funny because we were in two different locations. You guys were in Florida doing a gig, and we were in Yuma, Arizona, and the bartender at the Yuma Landing was making these recipes that we'd all filtered through. We got all these entries, and the winner, we've got Ward Heinrichs, who's our, I just got to give a shout out to Ward Heinrichs, who's our expert attorney on the show. He came third, I think, and we tasted his. Linda Stewart Nielsen is a travel writer, and we had Lisa Getz. Lisa turned out with the rum, and that turned out to be talk about everything being connected, right? Through friends and family.
That's right.
But it was all about the rum. We didn't know connections. Nancy, Big Blend Nancy, and Ron were the two main people to pick, and that's how it is. And apparently you both like rum. That's how,
The world does not rotate without rum.
That's right. There it is.
It comes to a
rum
stop.
So I want to bring Bill Storch on. Bill, how are you?
Good. How are you ladies doing?
We're doing good. We're doing good.
Very
it's good to have you back on the bus. What can we?
Good to be on the bus.
Yeah, well, last time we saw you, we were having Thanksgiving at you guys' the big house, the Cravens recording
studio.
The big house in the
backyard. That's right. That's right with the iguanas.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, thank you, and your family. It was amazing. Thank
you
for having us there.
It was really good.
It was amazing.
It was so wonderful having you gals here. It was so much fun. It was exciting to meet you after all these years, and yeah, you did behave. Too bad.
Too bad. I got to take care of that
everything,
time.
man.
You had your wine bag with you. Wine bag.
The wine bag. Yeah, we still travel with our wine bags. Portofino, very good thing. Everybody, porto-vino.com. Some shout-outs to them.
Right.
Yes, we're discreet, and when you asked if you would like wine, we just poured it out of our bag. It kind of happens.
That's right.
But it just happens. We're the easiest guests. We just bring our own wine.
That's great. That's great.
And our own cups even. It's crazy. Bill, what can Priscilla the Sock Monkey serve you?
Do you know what I want? Whiskey and waffles.
Oh,
whiskey and waffles.
Waffles.
That sounds like an album name. I like that. Whiskey and waffles.
Listen, our good friend Johnny Master
Whiskey and waffles.
They have an album,
like that.
Chicken and Waffles. But
no, whiskey and waffles.
Whiskey and waffles.
Yeah,
Damn,
whiskey
Priscilla,
and waffles. With some nice hot syrup on there.
Priscilla is getting drunk right now. She's getting drunk. John, what are you going to do? John Storch, welcome back. What are you doing?
What do I want from Priscilla? I want 2022 to be a really sweet year. So I'm going to go with Swiss Miss instant cocoa with marshmallows, and then for the food, cinnamon buns.
Yeah.
Cinnamon buns. John wants the buns and some marshmallows.
Instant
He wants a Swiss Miss with buns.
Can we doctor the cocoa a little bit?
Swiss Miss instant cocoa with cherry flavored marshmallows.
Whoa, what? Man, you really want some sweetness. My teeth are
I want some sweetness, yes. 2022 needs to be sweet.
Okay, I think it has. Listen, you guys are all on our party bus, so it's sweet, as it is. So I love this.
Right.
So, all right, I want to go back to James. We're going to go back, to San Francisco man, James Byfield of Blind Lemon Pledge. James, what has been going on? We're going to play some more of your music, and everyone, we're going to play another song from each of you, but what's happened for you in 2022, reflecting on 2021? I was looking at A Satchel Full of Blues as making some good numbers on the charts. How are you feeling right now? What's happening, looking at the past and looking at the future, between the 2 years?
Well, yeah, Satchel Full of Blues was my I finally had a hit album, I guess, as close as I've come. It was it got to number 9 on the acoustic blues charts, the Roots Music Radio charts, and it also got to number 89 on the top 200 all blues albums. So I was like ecstatic.
Awesome.
I'm still ecstatic.
Awesome.
So that was some of the best I ever did. I'd gotten on the acoustic blues charts before, but never onto the all around blues charts. So that was exciting. So I decided to take this.
Champagne,
very good.
So don't knock over your glass. She's pouring you more champagne right now.
So I produced an album a year for the last 4 years. So I decided that I was going to take 2022 off and sort of recharge my creative batteries. But I've got a couple things in the works. I've got probably another album of originals that I'm going to be working on, and I've written gospel songs. As you know, I've put a few on my albums over the years, and so I decided to maybe do a whole album of just my original gospel tunes. But having surveyed them, I see I need to write some new ones. But that's my exciting news. I've been working on that, listening to Staples singers every night for a while, kind of getting into their mode.
Inspiration.
I love this.
Yeah,
Staples.
I get that.
I mean, they're one of the best. I mean, the groups out there, and I mean, Mavis Staples. I would do anything to see her perform live.
She's great.
Has anybody seen Mavis Staples perform?
Oh yeah,
live?
I've seen her 3 or 4 times probably.
Never live.
Oh my God!
Wow, that'd be awesome.
Okay. I don't know what we're hearing, but
So anyway,
you
may remember that song I had, Little Black Train, a couple albums ago.
Yeah.
It was a cappella. Well, I worked hard on that one to kind of get as close as I could to Staples kind of harmonies, and I felt pretty good about it. So that's kind of the mode I'm working in on that album. See where it goes. I like to be open to possibilities.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
that's
interesting. Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Somebody, it wasn't me.
It was Rob,
that was me saying. That was me saying that sounds great. I like the sound of that.
Oh, it was a Dino. Yes.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's amazing when you think you're going to take a break. I think creativity goes.
Yippee.
Yeah. I think as soon as you say you're going to take a break, it just goes, oh yeah, I'm going to start leaching into your system. I'm going to, Well,
I mean more of a break. I'm not going to take a creative break, but I'm going to take a producing it break. Not release an album and just let that part, because that's, there's the creative part of releasing an album, and then there's just all the kind of footwork and the expense and the hassle and all that stuff, and I need a break from that more than anything.
Right, I love that. And Dino, for you this year, you got a new song out, a new single out that came out end of December. You like to do end of December music, and it's always positive. And we're going to play that later when the day comes. What was 2021 like for you? I think the last time we talked to you was it wasn't it was 2020 December in the snow. When we were in the snow. And so it's been a year. What was 2021 like? What are you looking forward to this year?
2020 seemed to be 2021 seemed to be an extension of 220. They kind of morphed into each other. I think we all expected things to be a little bit different. But in many ways, a lot of stuff got carried over for all of us. And but there's I like to have a positive outlook on challenges and look for the opportunities. And I think a lot of us had our backs against the wall, particularly in the music industry, and it sparked a lot of new music because a lot of people were stuck at home and were able to go, get back into writing a bit more maybe than they had been because there were less distractions. So it kind of was the perfect storm for many writers, I think, in many ways. And also, when your back's against the wall, innovation shows up. And so a lot of new experiences, I think, in the ways that people are thinking about how to share music and, how to get it in front of people now. So, it's still a challenge, but I think in many ways it provided an opportunity for the music industry to kind of have a bit of a reset, and it most probably needed a bit of a shake-up to kind of just look at doing things a little bit differently. So I think from that perspective, it was a lot of positives and kind of like giving people forcing the hand a little bit to kind of go, okay, revisit what you're doing and how you're doing it and why you're doing it.
Right. Yeah. Mommy Nature steps in and you can't mess with her. And we mess with her all the time worldwide. And she steps in, and when she's had enough, she's had enough. And she's, crying enough. And then we have to live with that and regroup. And it's hard. It's scary, but it also takes you to the next level.
It does.
Creative-wise,
Yeah, and sometimes we don't know what that next level is, but we just kind of got to keep the faith that it's kind of like it's going somewhere.
Yeah. Stay on the bus. Stay on the bus. Yeah. Priscilla's driving. You're okay.
There's the theme for 22. Stay on the bus.
Yeah. Keep floating. You do. You just stay on the bus and you just keep kind of. It's like surfing, right? In swimming or any. You've got to just stay with the flow and watch for particles. Watch for obstacles. I'm just going back in the water.
Watch out for plastic in the water.
Yeah. Watch for floating turds and do a detour.
Oh, nice.
That's how it is. But that's what I'm saying. It's like you've got to. You've got to keep going, and I think music is the one thing that keeps us going. Whenever you feel.
How would there be a world without music? I can't imagine.
It would suck.
Yeah.
I want to go to Bill Meredith because he's the drummer of the Cravens, and he's an incredible drummer. You can hear him. You just heard him too, but it was such a treat to watch him and Dennis be the foundation for John and Bill Storch and Ron, just it was an amazing experience. And Bill, the last show we did live, we pre-recorded a segment with him, but he's also a podcaster and a writer, a journalist, a music journalist, and he knows so much. And Bill, I wanted to ask you about reflecting of 2021 and into 2022 in the world of music. For us, we've seen just nonstop creativity. I mean, we've got our creative Celebrate the Arts magazine coming out soon, and it's like basically a super thick magazine of new music and new books and documentaries and films and but music and books, especially music. It seems because that comes a little bit quicker than a book, writing a novel. So we've seen a ton. What have you seen from last year and going into next year? Or this year, excuse me. We're here now. Stop the bus.
Yes, we are.
We're here.
I think 2020 and 21 were such lemon years that most artists figured out ways to make lemonade. And for the Cravens, that was the result was Cravenology, our third and probably best recording. I think that's true for a lot of artists.
Is it the time? Is it that artists are having more time with it?
Yeah.
I mean, because you can sit with something
less,
too long too.
Oh, of course. But I think we made good use of the time. We weren't performing live. Nobody was. We weren't able to play out. And even as a writer, my writing dried up because most of my writing was covering touring acts, doing concert reviews and promo features. And so everything kind of got put by the wayside. And I think it allowed us to be a little more focused towards completing the CD. Plus, we recorded it more on our own at our rehearsal space with remote equipment, and weren't under the gun as far as studio hours and studio costs go. And John Storch did an amazing job working on the CD. He went above and beyond to make it sound as great as it turned out.
Awesome.
Oh, phenomenal. Yeah, Cravenology. John, I mean, it's a fucking amazing. I mean, the quality is above and beyond. I mean, John is extraordinary, above and beyond. The first two.
I love this. Let's play it. Let's play it. Sea of Gold. It's really what was so great about seeing you guys perform live is, we've played your music over the years. We play, all three, entities here, Dino, James, and then, the Cravens. So that's why I say three. There's many more of you here. But, we played your music on the live shows, and that's why I want to bring them back. It's just I want to bring it back. It's got to be there. It's because you get to play music and pair music to segments and everything. But we've played your music, a ton, all of you, and it's just really cool when something new comes out. Nancy and I are always excited. Oh, there's new music. What are they doing? But, to see you guys perform live, and then Cravenology, we heard it a little bit before we got there and then had the album. And by the way, the CD is still in the car since November in the CD player. The CD has gone to Pennsylvania. It's been to listen, it got me out of a snowstorm that started to happen in Pennsylvania on our way back down to Florida. I mean, if I could, it's been everywhere. It has been all over, and it will continue to go everywhere. But there's just something really cool about how independent musicians are able to hone their craft. And what you're saying, that's something we've seen. And I want to play Sea of Gold because we never got to play it on the first show. Well, not the first show, but the most recent show with you guys, because we were kind of doing from the beginning till now. I want to play that. But before we do, I want to go to Dino. Dino, is that something for you too? in producing, having your own touch on what's being produced?
Yeah, absolutely. And like, it was just talked about with Craven. A lot of us would normally outsource certain things in the recording process. We kind of had to kind of step up and see what we could do with our own resources in the last couple of years, a lot more than we would have normally. And in many ways, that was a kind of healthy challenge. Ultimately,
yes.
I think
I agree. Yeah, absolutely.
So once you know you can do it, then you realize you can do it, so you don't have to do what you did before. You can do what you do now. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I really feel for some of the. Sorry, I was going to say, like, and I know here in Australia, which is it's what we've all been experiencing, pretty much the same thing. I really feel, not all musicians write music. So there are a lot of musicians who make a living out of performing live and haven't had that kind of net to fall back onto to write music. So it's been another level of challenge for the musicians that have found themselves not being able to fall back into something else, at least to divert their energy. I mean, the thing about writing music, it's you don't get there's no instant kind of financial gratification from that process. It's not like just changing jobs. There's it's kind of it's a creative process. So it doesn't pay the bills in the short term, but it's been healthy in terms of diverting your energy based on the fact that you can't perform live. So you can go, okay, well, I'm going to, great opportunity to write and produce more music. But there have been many artists who haven't had that to fall back on, and it's been devastating. For those artists. Sure. Psychologically, a lot of my friends have really struggled who don't write music, but they're sensational musicians, but just haven't had that kind of creative flow to kind of fall back on.
Yeah, and also touring-wise, a lot of musicians go overseas. I mean, if you're in America, you need to go overseas half of the time for people to recognize you. And
for whatever reason.
Truth. And now, like, even if you're from England and then we've done all these interviews lately where European musicians are having a really hard time with visas now because of the whole Brexit stuff. And I know that even for you to come over here, Dino, it's not easy with visas.
No, I mean, I would have loved to have come over. I was hoping to come over last year, but just, that wasn't going to happen. And, I know, there's artists that have been, from states coming over to Australia, and the cancellation notice keeps coming up. I mean, I just had another show cancelled yesterday that I was supposed to do this month because of what's going on here with new restrictions because of Omicron, that I don't know how it's going there at the moment with the gigs, but it's everything's still getting cancelled here at the moment, based on the current environment. So we're still losing shows. So, but, there will be an end to all this at some point. But at the moment, I think our resilience is really being challenged for us that, where live performances are part of our diet, so to speak.
What about putting on virtual concerts? Like, we're all sitting here, we've got all these musicians. What if you all banded together and put a virtual concert on?
Well, a lot have. I mean, a lot have.
Yeah.
A lot
but
have.
I mean,
and some musicians are better
Big Glenn should do it. You guys are in perfect place to do it.
So we
have to get on the bus. We need the bus. I know. We actually, before COVID happened, we did, we've talked about this because of us going to parks and stuff, of doing like virtual park concerts and stuff. And, and I kept thinking there's please, someone help me on this, Change the World Music. It's an amazing series of musicians performing the same song around the world.
Oh yeah.
I
forget the name of that. I know what you're talking about.
Change.
Yeah,
Change.
Yeah, yes. And it's like you see all these musicians play a piece of music together, and that's kind of my vision of unity. And they're doing it, which is great. But there's all this technical stuff, and look, we're doing it, but like I'm pushing buttons that I can't remember now because it just takes that little bit of time you aren't. But you guys know that. You guys going out and performing after being in lockdown, suddenly you're out on stage. It's like, holy crap! How did we communicate together at one point? We all had looks. We had buttons to push with our feet, our hands, or whatever. We have, strings to, it's like we know our instruments, but it's a different thing when you're live like we are now. And it's like, I'm like, damn, at the beginning of COVID, we started doing live radio shows every single day. And it was a way of us connecting everybody because people needed to still feel connected. And there were still stories to be told. Even the destinations that we cover in travel, I'm like, don't close down. Tell stories. Tell your stories. It's now's your time. And so we're still like, come on, But, it's different, and I think it's introspective. James, for you, how did it change over the last two? I mean, now we're in the 3 years, I suppose we are. For you, in regards to recording, because you've got your band as well, and you did get some video going with you guys.
Yeah, well, we because we're kind of small and folky. I mean, we don't require a lot of equipment. We're kind of portable, so we did a bunch of different stuff for most of the 2 years of especially 2020. We did a series of once or twice a month driveway concerts where we just went to a friend's house, or somebody's house would ask us, and we'd set up in the driveway, and that way people from around the neighborhood could come and kind of gather but not get too close because we were all outside.
Very cool.
Great. Love that.
I love
it.
Very,
people
very
just
cool.
loved it. I mean, people were like, because some places we came several times, and people were waiting for us to come, and when are you coming again? So that was really fun. And then I have a good friend that I've recorded with off and on since my second or third release, and he's got a little personal studio. So most of the album that I released in 21, I recorded at the end of 20 in his little studio, and I'd bring my drummer in and we'd do it, and we were all very careful about things, but it wasn't a lot of worry because there weren't a ton of people around and stuff, and that's how I put the record together. So I had, I was done by like January, February of 21, and then released it in July.
Wow,
very good,
wow.
Very cool,
very cool.
I love it that you guys are all still here. We're on the bus. We're all like still rocking it. We're gonna keep sailing because we're in.
That was pretty cool.
We're in South
I love
Florida.
that story about the driveway concerts. That was
great.
Oh,
they were great. It was such a good vibe because people
were they streamed?
They were just craving music, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Were they streamed those driveway concerts, or was it just
no?
Basically
We just set up and played. It's like I don't mind dealing with the technical stuff, but I'd rather somebody else was doing it because I find if I'm trying to lead a band, do a good performance, and mess with the video stuff, my mind just explodes.
Yeah.
The tech stuff is just so.
That is so cool. That's really great.
I like the driveway too. Yeah. We have a band out not far from you, but it's on the other side of the bay, in Richmond area, I think it is. The Bay Station Band, and they started doing porch concerts. They're in Richmond.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Richmond.
Yeah,
and so people would come by, drive their bikes, sit and watch, and they're just all on their porches playing music. So they were doing that. And it's cool. They do these bay concerts where they go out on a boat and play music on their boat and sail around the bay and play music. So there was this whole new thing going on, but they were always doing the bay music thing. But suddenly it went to porches. So I love
it's all really cool. People need to feel alive.
Yeah.
There's so much death going around. People just need to feel alive. I mean, you remember seeing the videos of the people in Italy singing on their balconies?
On the balconies, yeah.
People just needed to reach out.
The idea.
Yeah, people just needed to reach out to each other and say, "Hey, look, I'm here and I'm alive." And I want to hear music and I want to do the things I do when I'm living. You know, so I think it was excellent.
I think if musicians went to bed and breakfast in their local neighborhoods, that they would find that people, like most of them, have big porches and places where you could play, and their people booking into the B&Bs would love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there's a big space there that could be filled.
Maybe not this time of year, depending on where you are. South Florida. Yes.
Not everybody's cold.
Right, exactly.
Well, two of the three of your guests are warm right now. I'm not.
Yes.
San Francisco is always cold.
The bus stopped in South Florida. We should all be good. There's pelicans flying. Dino, did anything like that happen in Adelaide where you are? With going out to parking lot. I mean, there's we like grocery stores were doing drive-in, movies and things like that here, and people were also doing lights up. And what was it like in Australia for that?
Look, driveway concerts, I haven't heard about that. I think I might have pinched that idea and see if I can start the fire here in Australia with that one. But no, look, a lot of people went to streaming here or tried to stream. I'm not a big fan of the streaming, personally, because look, we're having a conversation together now and it feels real. Like, there's back and forth dialogue and stuff, and that's really what a live performance is for me. That response, the feeling of the other people in the room, and to kind of to take that away from the live performance, to take the people away from the live performance in the room with you is a different experience. It's not something that excites me personally. I would rather see a video of a live concert than actually just bunch of people in a room performing to a camera. That's just me personally, but I get the fact that it's a good way to monetize a performance. If you've got the audience who want to support you. For me, I turn to releasing some video footage from my home studio to my network of songs I hadn't recorded before, and sharing those videos, and that's something that worked for me. And I kind of set up a support me page where people could buy me a virtual coffee, lunch, dinner, or wine.
I'm with you on that. That's cool. I'll put that up too.
We should do that, Lisa.
Interesting, actually. That was an interesting exercise for me, where I gave people four options. They could buy me a virtual coffee, they could buy me lunch, dinner, or dinner and wine. And so the virtual coffee was $5, and I think then it went up to $15 for lunch, and then it was like $30 for dinner, and then it was $50 for dinner and wine. And to my surprise, the majority of the people purchased dinner and wine.
Wow.
I was absolutely shocked by that.
Cool.
It was a good example of never kind of underestimating the people that kind of want to support you. If you're given the option, you'd be quite surprised at what they actually choose. I could have just put there, buy me a virtual coffee, and people would have done that. But it was kind of a bit of a marketing exercise as well, just to see if you give people more options, what would they choose, So that was kind of something cool that worked for me in 2020. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Well, yeah,
so we definitely know you're not a cheap date, at least, you know.
I like a good meal, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I love this. I love this because I think that's the truth is, you know, musicians are not necessarily marketers, right? So that's why we have Nancy here as the manager of the Cravens, and
correct.
Not saying the rest of you aren't marketers at all, but I'm
I wish I had a
there
manager.
It's very
a lot of
hard
work
to promote yourself. I sold Nancy, my big blend Nancy, my mother's art for years. Since I was a kid, you know, I'd be able to sell a painting for thousands of dollars versus her doing it because it's her own art. Because there's that immediate, you know, you're either way egotistical and over the top, or where's the balance coming, right? And it's the same thing in small business. We have to learn that value and understand we all have value. And it's a very big business lesson to learn of, you know, and even with us, we have that, you know, we have to sell marketing and ads and stuff. And our clients are nonprofits and small business and destinations and not the big fancy ones. We are trying to help all the independents. That's who we are. And you're not going to sit there and go, all right, guys, we're going to cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars for a marketing plan. We're not doing it. We can't. And we just can't. Right. We just can't do it. So you do what you can, but you can't undersell yourself. You can't, because if you listen to everyone's music on this show, like hell no, right? And I think that's kind of part of the streaming has been a beautiful thing that people can sit and listen. I listen to Spotify. Sorry, I do. It's easy to listen while I'm working. But I want the money to go proper, you know. It really needs to go properly. And so that's where I would like to see a change for musicians. It sounds great. I mean, it's like podcast. Oh, how much money are we going to make podcasting on, you know, the same damn thing? We're on the same boat. It's, you know, the big guys get all the money. So you have to do your own independent thing, and it's very interesting listening to this. But on that level, we all have to, in some way, do the conformity, but then still we have to keep our integrity, all of us, no matter what we are doing. I don't care if you're running a candy shop in a downtown district, you've got to keep your integrity. That's what, and when you start losing your integrity, you've lost it. And you've lost art at that point. Period.
Yeah, you sold out. You sold out.
You sold
but you have to eat.
For sure.
You have to eat, and Spotify is not going to do it.
You have to make a living. You have to make a living. Everybody has to make a living. That's a given. And I call that survival. And then, so there's survival.
But also on your own terms too.
Yeah.
You know.
But survival is base, like just to keep alive, okay? And then
survival, water and bread.
Graduate above survival where you can be, okay, I'm surviving on my own terms, as you say.
Now on a thrive.
And then you can go, when you're comfy there and you got that down, then you can go for a little bit more and like, oh, I'm going to have a savings account.
Yes.
Make interest off the bank, you know. So when you think of the hierarchy of how we actually really exist, you know, we've come a long way from cavemen, for example, where their thing was, am I going to be alive tomorrow? Am I going to be able to feed my family? And I don't know how they got children in the first place, because they don't know. They were like, what? You know, without education, I mean, if you think back, they would be, what's happening to my body as a woman? You'd be all like, dude, I'd count on that. But you know what I mean? If you think back how far we've come, and now we've hit a roadblock with the virus.
Yeah.
It's not the first time. It's not the first time. In the 1800s, we had yellow fever. we just weren't there to experience it. This is just kind of our turn.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. True. So in a sense, we really haven't gotten very far from the cavemen, but it's 2022, so we're gonna make it the best we can.
Yeah,
exactly. All right, so let's jump in. Okay, since we're in Southern Florida, let's jump into the Sea of Gold. One of the Cravens, who's going to tell us the story behind this? Like, set it up. This is from Cravenology, the album Cravenology, the latest one, and we're waiting for more because, like, we're never done. We're pigs. We're music. We could just have a magazine called Music Pigs. We are. We're music pigs. We'll just just keep bringing it. We'll just keep eating it. So it's true.
Hello.
Music pigs. That's what I'm just going to call it. I'm going to call him.
I think
John, what's the background of the song? Let me see. Well, when Bill and I were working on it, to tell you the truth, it's very loosely based on an autocratic figure that we all know, who happens not to be president right now, in a very loose way. Certain phrases in the verses are kind of based on this person, but not completely. A vibe was set up, and we just kind of ran with lyrics that would create a certain atmosphere. But like the bridge, when I say when you're all alone in your sea of gold, blah blah, that's all kind of tied into being lonely while you're also despotic.
Oh my God!
And then actually the line. And then actually the line is a cardinal swinging in your tree. There was actually a cardinal in the tree when we were writing it in the back.
No way. And listen, Rudy's pub is
there's a cardinal on the tree, so let's put that in the song. Yeah, there's just that.
I love
simple.
that. That ties back
so it's not exclusively.
But that's named after Rudy. Like, you got to think Rudy's pub is named after Rudy the Cardinal. Yeah. That's where we saw you perform. Yeah.
Right.
All right, here it is, everyone. Sea of Gold. Sea of Gold, again, from the Cravens. It is out now through their latest album, Cravenology. Go to The-Cravens.com. You can get them on Spotify, all those places. But go to The-Cravens.com. And Cravensongs.com. Bandcamp, you guys are on Bandcamp, right?
Yes, we are.
Oh, cool. Please go there, everybody. That's, like, really important because musicians make actual money on Bandcamp versus everywhere else. So Bandcamp, and especially on certain Fridays, Bandcamp Friday is a good thing where you can support your musician and they get all the proceeds from the sale. So Bandcamp is doing the right thing. Just giving a promotion to Bandcamp. I have no affiliation, but I love what they're doing for musicians. So here it is, Sea of Gold, again from Cravenology and Cravensongs.com. Here it is.
What you preach, my mistake.
What I put down, I'll do on my own time. Your father's house, it's got many rooms. Don't ever let the river swallow you. Well, I can't say why, I can't say, oh why. Well, I can't say why, I can't say why.
Oh my God, I'm so glad we played that. Everyone, Sea of Gold from the latest album, Cravenology by the Cravens. Go to cravensongs.com.
Thanks for playing it.
Go to Bandcamp.
Awesome.
Holy cow. What I love about this is you just have all your genres all merged in one, and you do it with such damn dynamics. It's just like, it's awesome. I mean, it's insane.
Thank you. Thank you for playing it.
Thank you.
You know?
I think somebody in your band should write a Cravenology novel. Like
I know. No, but we all talked about you doing it as a comic strip.
Well, that would have to be Dennis, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the publishing, yeah.
They're the publisher.
We'd have to be doing to write there
it.
we go.
Dennis and Meredith.
Awesome.
Or Meredith could write it and Dennis could publish it. There you go.
Yeah.
That sounds good to me.
Listen, I want to go to
I'll follow Rock and Ronnie around. Yeah.
Rock and Ronnie, I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you about that song too, because that song has a lot of stops and and flows. And what I thought was really interesting is how your guitar comes in with, here's your lead, and then at the end it's like it kind of flips over and does the vocals like mirroring back to your lead. Does that make sense? I don't know what. I know what I'm talking about. I don't know if it comes out right. Bill, you could probably help me more. You're the journalist on that. But you do flip it over. Here comes because that beat and the way the guitar goes in, has like a stop short kind of boom, yet it's still Americana with that boom, and then here comes the lead. I mean, it just kind of like frees that. It says, okay, we've given you attention, like we've got your attention. Now we can soar a little bit and you can listen. Like, how is that as a lead guitarist to kind of get that vibe and not overstep, and then also not overstep when you do that? Because you come in as incredible. I mean, it's just amazing flow.
Yeah.
Ron, you have good flow.
Yeah.
Is that something you've been practicing for years?
No, I think I'm really in tune with John and Bill's writing, and try to always write something that complements it. Try to come up with parts that complement. In other words, to not play more than what the song calls for.
Yeah. I think that's beautiful.
That is so true with Ron. I mean, that's why Ron and John and I, and we've been writing music with each other for so long that it's just Ron's right. He knows exactly where to come in and soar, and then where to lay it out, and where to come in hard and heavy. And that song does have a bunch of little catches to it right when it's soaring. I know what you're talking about, and then just stops. Yeah, and then it's like it's back into the mechanics of the song.
And Ron is an incredible writer, and we've been working together for so long. It's like we totally trust what he's going to come up with, and every single time it's always right, without a question. Yeah,
the dynamics are amazing. That dynamics of that song, because it really does like wrestle you up to wake up. This is what we're going to tell you. And you're like, oh, you picked up, like, here's the bird chirping outside your window. Like, what the hell's going on outside? I'm going to look. Yeah. And then it's like, okay, I'm listening, I'm looking, and then here comes Ron going, it's going to be okay. You can do this. You can listen. And then, and it goes back to it, and you're like, okay, now I'm familiar with this. It's a that song is intricate, but the dynamics, it's badass. And I really want to
not to mention that Ron's kicking ass.
Are you?
Yeah.
Ron kicks ass during this.
Yeah, the guitar
down the block. Yeah, I'm back.
Bill, for you guys, Bill, you and Dennis, on that is something to be. You're super tight. I mean, to do that, to let that, because it's tight and open at the same time. That sounds terrible, but it's true. You know what I mean?
It's true.
No, sounds good to me actually. Dennis, he's the kind of bass player, if you're in a rhythm section, he's the kind of bass player that makes you feel better about your own playing because he's so easy to lock in with.
He's chill on stage.
He's incredible.
So chill.
Yeah.
He's chill. Like he's just like, you guys are all like these natural born musicians, not killers. Natural born musicians.
He's chill off stage too.
It's a connection. It's a vibe. It's a surreal kind of connection. When band members really get it,
it's so funny. I got like a little funny story to tell you. At my job, I ran into someone that we all know from the outside world, John Tolucci. He's a drummer in town. He's been in town. He's been in Nashville. He's been in Nashville, stuff like that. And I hadn't seen him in a long time. We were talking in the garage at the place where I work, and he's like, well, what's the name of the band you're in? I said, well, we're in the Cravens. He goes, oh, my God, the Cravens. And he's like, so you guys have a reputation of being, like, super tight and, like, not just tight on stage, but tight, like, as friends. He goes, is that true? Or you guys all get along really good? I said, yeah. I said, the five of us get along great. It's like, so we kind of have this kind of like vibe out there in the music world around here that we're really tight as friends as well as tight musicians. As
a band,
you are tight. You are tight.
Yeah.
But I can believe to see it live, you'll see that. I mean, it's like everybody knows, and just do it straight. I mean, I know that being able to perform live is still kind of new, and after the whole the whole COVID thing, that night it was like, wow,
the chemistry on stage is just phenomenal. It just, you have, when you see them live, the chemistry is just insane.
It's insane.
And along with the musicianship of all of them. Phenomenal. Phenomenal musicians. Yeah.
And it sucked. We didn't want to go home. Nancy almost put up a fight with me, and I'm like, dude, Mom, we're taking you home, girl. I know. We got to go home. We had to go home. We're taking care of a dog. We pet sit. We traveled. People are social distance by that. So, But,
I mean, the two of you made it through 4 sets, so that's pretty good,
Yeah,
dude,
exactly.
It was, I just want more. But speaking of that and amazing dynamics and music, we're going to go to Dino and play his new single, which is out now and came out in December 2021. Got a great video you have to see on YouTube, and it's called When the Day Comes. And Dino, you're a solo artist, but you seem to surround yourself with the best people on the planet. Because you're a nice guy and talented. It probably just happens that way.
No one does anything on their own. I mean, I go, I'm not really I always perform with a band. I mean, I just learned years ago that every time a band broke up and you had to come up with a new name, it felt like starting all over again. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to stick with my name, and when the band breaks up, at least the name carries on.
Right.
There's always more people than me involved, and so I never want to underplay that. The reality is that it's no different than being in a band. We all work with musicians, and we kind of do the same thing. So, but having good people around you is the goal in life. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. You bring your audience into everything, and it was very apparent also during COVID. I mean, I was talking about that one Christmas show we did, and you did a song, and you dared everybody to go out and dance and film themselves, and then you made a video of it, and I mean, you got your audience, your fans, to be connected in a way because you aren't there with them to do that. In a way, you're stretching globally also doing that.
Well, look, one of the highlights for me, I've got to say, like during this whole kind of last couple of years was in 2020, I wrote a song called Can't Keep Still, which was kind of a bit of an ironic title at the time because it happened just when, we were told we weren't allowed to dance and sing in public. And two of the healthiest activities you could possibly do as a human being.
Agreed.
So it was kind of ironic. And I just kind of, in my room, started doing some videos of just, some songs that I'd written and hadn't released. And I started working on this song and plugging into some of my retro funk soul influences. And I just recorded a 1-minute sample and sent it out to people on my mailing list, basically, and people on my social saying, if you want to be in my video, send me a little snippet of yourself dancing to this little sample of the song. And it was such a huge success.
Cool.
People just recorded themselves because everyone was in isolation at the time. So people just recorded themselves, just kind of dancing to a little snippet of the song, and then they sent it to me on the video. And then all of a sudden, I mean, I've never worked with video in my life, so all of a sudden I got hundreds of these videos sent to me from people, not just around Australia, but all around, overseas in Canada and the US and Italy and France and all over the place. And
that's amazing.
That's so I was like, okay, what am I going to do with this now? So I very quickly jumped onto YouTube and started watching all these tutorials on how to put a video together, through just stuff that was available that we all have access to with just software that you can access for free and things like that.
It's so cool.
And it was, it certainly wasn't a high-end video, but it was most probably out of all the releases I've ever been part of, it's the most exciting and the most fulfilling release I've ever done because, I've got all these people that are on my video from all over the place, dancing to a snippet of the song. And we kind of shared the release together of the song. It was bizarre.
But it's so important. Like, it just shows how important music is.
Yeah.
And
it was
how
a great diversion.
History. It documents
it was a great
history
diversion.
And it stays moving. Music documents history, but the torch is always burning because the music is always playing. And that's the beauty. It's better than a textbook, right?
Yeah.
That's the beauty. That's what I'm talking about with James's music. James Byfield here. I mean, you listen to his music and you're learning history through his words of what people went through in this country. And
I've got to have a listen to some of James's gospel songs he was talking about before.
Yeah, I want some of that because
I'm
seriously, Mavis Staples still all of that. Like when we got to this country, and like I heard gospel in Africa, and it's huge. It's huge. Like
it's not part of the Australian. It's not part of our culture here, but I absolutely whenever my ears got exposed to the sound of that style of singing, and it always put put a shiver up my spine. And so there's something a bit special about it that always that's
it's
magical.
Pure. It's pure.
Yeah.
It's pure. It's getting down. And James
What's
has
from the
it.
soul?
James is real. James, you're real. I'm sorry, we're just talking about you while you're on the show. We're talking behind your back.
I think I had shivers going down my spine.
Yeah. No, but it's true. But but it's about being real. And I think what's so wonderful about you is what you unclutter things and you're just playing. You're like, here's the real deal of what went down. I mean, John, Run John.
I just have to go. I have to just go Bob Dylan.
To me, is one of the best too. It's like, but we got to get moving. The train is going to stop at any time and say, "Hey, bus, you're racing me, but I'm going to beat you." So we can't do that. So we're going to play "When the Day Comes." Okay. So listen, the video for this. We'll do the video for this. You did this outside a church and in a karaoke bar. What's going on? Like this, you are all over the place, and it looks like you involved people again.
Yeah,
as always.
Yeah, there's a few funny stories behind that one as well. Yeah.
All right, let's play it, and then we'll talk. All right, here it is. When the Day Comes, everyone, by Dino-Jag. Keep up with Dino at Dino-Jag.com. Take a listen.
I got no religion, but I got intuition. Follows me like a prowler. It comes from a higher power. You know that I'm still a dreamer. I got myself a keeper. Loving it so high. Every day is gold. Make no mistake, I was on the take, crossing all the line. And my imagination will get me some salvation when the day comes. Oh, when the day comes. When the day comes. But not today.
Everyone, that was Dino-Jag, When the Day Comes, his latest single, and you can go to Dino-Jag.com to learn more. But Dino, let's talk a little bit about that song. Number one, It Should Be Longer. I'm just saying, because we like it. But it's inspirational. You always seem to have a positive message with your music. Tell us a little bit of background to this song, and because you were filming it with other people, it seems like you're getting everybody involved again.
Yeah, well, I mean, that song was written in June last year in our last lockdown. We had a 5-day lockdown here in Adelaide, and hopefully that was our last one. Although it does feel like we're locked down at the moment, but I think they've reframed lockdown to heavy restrictions, make it feel different. But
that's funny.
So yeah, that was written during that time. So I think the feeling of that When the Day Comes was kind of plugging into just energetically what was going on at the time, and the inspiration for me was kind of looking at some of the choices I made over my life and So the opening lyric, I've got no religion. It's certainly it's not an anti-religion song, but this kind of starts. It's with that kind of lyric, and I remember when we made a decision, to put a video together, and again, no resources, and so now you can do things on an iPhone. If anyone checks out the video to the song, it was all done on an iPhone. So which is I was actually pleasantly surprised with the end result. But we just had this idea, like, let's keep it simple. And I had the idea of I wanted to get thrown out of a church. This opening scene, had this vision, being thrown out of a church and then jumping onto this piano. I've got no religion, and that's kind of the opening scene. So then I rang a friend of mine here who deals with real estate, and there's a lot of people that find old churches and convert them. They've been abandoned, and they turn them into a cool place to live. And so I rang him. I said, do you know anyone we just want the front that looks like a church? Do you know anyone that's got a building that we can maybe access for this little video scene? And he goes, oh, look, I've got one better. I actually know someone who actually has a church, a real church that's actually functioning in the city. So he put me onto the priest, and the priest says, oh, we'd love to support your music. And then I explained to him what the opening scene was. And I said, look, we're just going to just fly out these front doors, going to be thrown out by a priest. And and he goes, so had a bit of back off about that, naturally. And he says, we don't want to be seen to be throwing people out of a church. We're trying to get people into the church. So
that's excellent.
Just kind of modified the scene. Had to kind of rewrite the scene, and so I'm just kind of running out now instead of being thrown out. But that was just a bit of fun, and then we found a karaoke bar here in Adelaide called Le Sing. Just wanted to have a scene where the band kicks in, and we just wanted to be on stage. And I don't really hang out at karaoke bars, but I've got a cousin who's a karaoke junkie, and it just happened that I saw something come up in his news feed, this karaoke bar, and it looked kind of retro and a little bit cheesy and cool. I thought, that'd be a bit fun.
It looks like a place you'd eat cheese whip. It would. Talking about cheese, it looks like you'd get cheese whip if you wanted. I don't know.
So at the end, in the final scheme of things, we just did it in two locations. A little bit outside this church, and then we just kind of filmed inside this karaoke bar. When there was no one there, they opened up for us and let us use the room, and so and all done on an iPhone. So it was kind of gave me a bit of confidence, actually, because most musicians who are independent, making the music, I think it was James, I think that might have mentioned this before, like making the music is one thing, but then when you got to actually put the other piece together, like the promotional content, and then the money involved in making that happen, and then promoting it, and the money involved, and energy, and with all the other stuff on the other side of the creation line, that's where it gets really kind of challenging, especially if you haven't got the income coming in. With the other stuff, So it was refreshing for me. It gives me doing this video with just an iPhone, just one person shooting on one iPhone, that gave me confidence to go, okay, you know what? We don't need the big budgets for music videos now. We can actually still make stuff work without all that stuff. So, that was a positive outcome
I
out
love
of this
that
experience.
Now, because I looked at the iPhone things, and the camera functions in iPhones are supreme. They are really smart, and the resolutions and all the stuff that we need when we put a magazine together, it's right there. It is.
No, it's there. It's there, and I love that everyone's doing all these different ways to make things work. And you know what it is? The over-polished is, I think none of us care about over-polished anymore, unless you're like, you know what I mean? It goes back to integrity. Having integrity, here's what I want to put out. I'm going to do the best I can. with what I have. And you know what? I think people resonate with that. Everybody roots for the underdog, right? More than, hey, here I am, the fancy person at the top who, like, you know. So I'm just saying, it's all that. But we're on a time thing here, and I want to get James back in here on the conversation because we're going to play his song, If Beale Street Was a Woman. Tell us about this, James. Everyone, James Byfield, also known as Blind Lemon Pledge, and you can go to his website, blindlemon-pledge.com. Tell us about this song because that's an interesting title.
Well, I actually stole the title from an old jazz song that I discovered on YouTube one day by accident, and I've stolen a couple titles in life. Luckily, you can't copyright titles, so they're open. But all I did was see the title, and I went, and the whole song just kind of fell into my mind. I've been trying to, for a long time, working more and more towards trying to get a sense of the poetry of the language of the blues. You know, that really I love the kind of non sequitur qualities of some blues songs and how different themes come in that aren't necessarily related, but then you kind of get to the end of the song and all of the verses stack up and give you a picture more than a story. And that's what this song was really based around, was that that sense of an old blues song. The third verse, which is my woman found two other men and threw my ring of my diamond away, is really trying to capture that quality of just this verse about a cheating woman and all that stuff. So it was really, and it's an homage to Beale Street too, to just the feeling when you are in Memphis and surrounded by all that amazing blues and stuff that went on there. If you haven't ever been to Memphis, it's just, and I'm sure you guys have been, it's just it's got a music quality that's astonishing.
So you've been there. You've been to Memphis, to Beale Street. Years ago, on one of our very first shows, and it's very difficult because what we have archived versus what we have in archive as we're traveling are two different things. And we interviewed a photographer who did these black and white scenes of Beale Street way back when, and like in the hub of it during Elvis, and I really just, I need to go in our storage unit and get old hard drives out or something. It's insane what this man did, and they're beautiful. And tomorrow's radio show is dedicated to Memphis, and we're supposed to talk with Milton, who's our guest, about what to do in spring and kayaking and all the nature stuff, and we did a little bit of that. And then we started talking music, and his face literally lights up, and we're doing Zoom calls, right? His face lights about music, and he wouldn't stop. And I'm like, dude, we're not stopping. We're going to go. We're going on the music thing. We're on the music train. We're in Memphis. Screw this. We've been on our show before. We did all of this. We're going on the music trip. And he did.
But
and it turns out the music
Memphis
trip
without music. You can't.
Yeah, and he brought it into, we think about Beale Street, and then you got to think about Elvis. Then you got to think about Memphis soul. Like the Box Tops have been on our show, which is amazing. I mean,
is that right? I didn't know that.
I mean, the history of like Memphis soul. You've got to also look at Black history of Memphis and how that happened, and the Underground Railroad history that happened there. And there's this history that I didn't even know. It was not necessarily the Underground Railroad, but it was like this whole other underground scene. And so it's really huge, black and white, in Memphis. And I think it kind of converged there. And then you got to think how close it was to New Orleans. It's close. It's not far to Chicago. You can take a train right to Chicago, Detroit, So when you think about this hub, it was like by the time we were done talking to them, I'm like, okay, now what's happening now? And then he's like, well, rap is huge. Like we've got hip hop, we've got all of this happening. So but using the sensibilities and sampling from the past. So it's like moving to the future, and it is now. And it's so cool when you think about the place, and that's what I love about what you do, James, is like as we travel, we go to, West Virginia, and we've been to Kentucky and all of these places, and your music is part of that, like reminding us of the history of the coal miners, the farmers, the slaves, the sharecroppers. You remind us of the history and the roots of what makes Americana. And we can't forget those roots. We cannot forget those roots. And that's the beauty of music, is always to remember and document and keep it going. So we're going to play If Beale Street Was a Woman. Was she a curvy gal? Or was she skinny?
I think she would be.
I think she would be. And I think, she's got those lights and all that good stuff. So, James, thank you for joining us again. It's great to have you on a live show again, right? I think the first time you were on the show, we made it, and we had all kinds we just kept hitting walls, but we've made it. It's beautiful. So thank you for joining us, everyone, again. blindlemon-pledge.com. Thank you, Dino-Jag, for being on the show. It's been awesome to have you back on here. And everyone go to Dino-Jag.com. And thank you to the Cravens, all of you, for joining.
You're welcome.
You guys,
you are welcome.
Love you guys.
Well, I'm sure I speak for the other musicians when I say thank you guys for doing what you do so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you for doing what you guys. Yes. Oh, yes.
Yep. Ditto.
Yes, absolutely.
Ditto across
you
the
guys
board.
Are great.
Ditto.
You make us happy. Are you kidding me? Just keep creating. You make us happy. And the more we can let everybody be happy like we are, the better. The more music, the better. The world keeps going around. So here it is. If Beale Street was a woman, everyone, Cravens, go to cravensongs.com, on Bandcamp too, Dino-Jag.com, blindlemon-pledge.com. That's so funny because every time I say dash, I feel like I'm going to get a duster out. Blindlemon-pledge.com. And, of course, keep up with us at bigblendradio.com. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, audience.
Yay.
Thank you, everybody who's been part of our journey. Rock on, babies. Here it is. We're going to Beale Street. Take care.
If Beale Street was a woman, I'd take her for my bride. I've been married to the blues ever since I was alive. If Beale Street was a woman, oh, I'd take her for my bride. I've been married to the blues ever since I was alive. If Memphis was a singer, the blues would be the song. There's a note for every heartbreak, every gal who done you wrong. If Memphis was a singer, the blues would be the song. There's a note for every heartbreak and every gal who done you wrong. If 1 and 1 is 2, then 2 and 1 might be a thing. My woman got 2 men, she throwed away my diamond ring. If 1 and 1 is 2, then 2 and 1 might be a thing. Oh, my woman got 2 men, she throwed away my diamond ring. Memphis crawl. Got a satchel full of blues and my back against the wall. I'm crying low on Beale Street. Yeah, I'm doing the Memphis crawl. I got a satchel full of blues on my back against the wall. I got a satchel full of blues on my back against the wall.